It's been 6 months since 4 women were killed at Fairmont Terrace apartment complex near 61st and Peoria in South Tulsa. Since then, the apartment complex, one of the largest Section 8 housing facilities in the city, has become the focal point for local officials and residents to talk about a larger neighborhood that is known for violent crime. Police officer Jennifer Moore works out of the Riverside Division of the Tulsa Police Department and regularly patrols neighborhoods around 61st and Peoria.
I think for this area through here, it's just it's concentrated. A lot of the criminal activity, as far as the drugs and the gang violence, is concentrated this area with the subsidized housing that's here as a contributing factor to it.
For residents like Rochelle Remisar, a New Orleans native who moved to Tulsa with her son Cortez after Hurricane Katrina, hearing that her neighborhood is synonymous with violent crime doesn't tell the whole story.
Every time something happens on the news, Fairmont is brought up. What if that was in your neighborhood? And you're tired of hearing the news talk about, oh yeah, this neighborhood is not good to live in. You know? Don't judge it until you've lived in it. But there are good people here. You know, yeah, we have some bad people that they don't want nothing to come good for Fairmont. That's why we're trying to get them out. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I want them out. You know, I want positive people, you know.
Come talk to me. Come talk to me. I try to make it to jail at least once a night, but most of the evenings I am trying to make it 2 or 3 times a night. My first priority is obviously to respond to calls for service, and then in between calls I try to be proactive in my area to deter crimes from occurring. You're gonna go to jail tonight. I'm serious. You can't be smoking that stuff and running around out here. You're gonna end up getting run over, or you're gonna get stabbed again. 61st and Peoria has been known for a lot of violent crimes, gang activity, drug activity. There's a lot of subsidized housing in the area that contributes to the problems that we have. For us that work in that area, what we try to do is, in between taking calls for service, we try to be proactive and patrol the area looking for any problematic activity, make contact with Henry Floyd, trying to catch up to a vehicle going. We have a no tolerance policy. That means that anyone who is committing a violation, whether it be a pedestrian violation or a traffic violation, we're going to make contact with that person and enforce whatever law they've broken. So there's going to be a consequence for it. Get your hands up! Get your hands up!
Negative has a gunpoint. We're at 300 East 59th Street.
I hope it changes. I think that the only way that it does change is by people coming together, and I think a lot of it's change from within. And so I think it's recognizing the issues. Obviously we've identified a lot of the problems and providing those resources and the assistance of the community to make those changes.
We moved here in the summer of 2007. I think I just turned 12.
Keelia Sankey is a high school student. She lives at Fairmont Terrace with 4 siblings and her grandmother after moving from Wichita and living at 2 shelters in downtown Tulsa.
When we lived in Wichita, Kansas, we were always afraid of where we lived because our mom, she had issues, so we were always afraid of where we lived.
Keelia works 2 jobs and plans to go to college to study forensics after she graduates from high school.
Ever since the murders, we've had a lot more security, and we put up like the security thing at the gate where you have to have your ID now. I don't even know how to put this. When we moved out from Salvation Army and actually got here to Fairmont, we actually felt a lot better since we moved, like way before since we moved, so like years.
Mike Salerno grew up here.
Our apartment was around the back side in the middle.
Because of his experiences as a kid, he now leads a ministry that works almost exclusively with residents of Fairmont Terrace.
My mom brought me and my twin brother here when we were about 12 years old. We lived in a building right behind the apartment complex, right behind the office here. Right before we were 13, my mom left.
Mike wasn't afraid when his mother left him and his twin brother home alone at age 13. They'd been left home alone for a few days at a time when they were as young as 8 years old. When his mother left the boys alone in Tulsa to pursue a job in Texas, Mike forged a birth certificate, started working to pay rent, and still went to school. A pastor from a local church mentored Mike, checked in on him, made sure he went to church and stayed well. Now, together with a handful of volunteers, Mike and his wife Tracy spend 4 to 5 days a week at Fairmont Terrace, including rides to church on Wednesday nights.
That's it. You got a loose one? I think we go through things in life, fortunate or unfortunate, it makes us who we are. But I could have either followed the path of my mother and done drugs and alcohol and left my kids, or I could have said, you know what, I don't want any part of that, and I'm going to follow this path. At some point in our lives, we make that decision. And part of our ministry is to help kids make the other decision, to say, you know what, I don't want any part of this. This isn't how life should be. I want to change that legacy and go this route.
You got on without giving me a hug. How are you?
Look, Liberty Baptist Church helped change one kid's life from here. And now we're back here, hopefully changing 40. And if in 20 years they come back and change 400, it's a process. It didn't end up this way overnight. It's not going to change overnight. So I don't ever look at a single event and go, I give up. Sometimes you feel like you want to, but we don't ever look at a single event and go, it's too much, we're done. We look at the big picture. You know, this is what we're called to do. We don't see how or why sometimes, but this is what we're called to do.
Mark!
We really thought it would be 10, 15 kids tops, and then it's not. It's a lot more. But yeah, I mean, it just made sense to me to give back to not only Fairmont, to give these kids hope, but to give back for what Nathan and Liberty Baptist Church had done. If we end up with one kid on our bus, God forbid we do, but if we end up with one kid on our bus, we're still going to do it. Because who's that one going to be? Who is he? Is he the next president? The next governor? The next Kenneth Hagin? The next Kenneth Copeland? Who is he? We don't know. If he turns out to be the next me, I think it's a win compared to what I could have been.
I imagine it's going to be a pretty busy night. TypTypically speaking, around 9 o'clock we start getting really busy, and it continues to get busy until about 2 o'clock in the morning. So.
I think this is a great place to start or to get back on your feet.
I guess I'm a little bit more comfortable here because we've been here a while and we know the people, we know the area, so it's not like if we moved, we don't know anybody, we don't even know the area, so I'm actually kind of comfortable here.